This is Startup Biz Coach Radio, formerly known as Mornings with Terry, and we're empowering entrepreneurs right from the start. Find us at thestartupbizcoach.com every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern with your host, Terry Clay. Are you ready to get this business started?
Hey, this is Terry Clay, and I am back with another episode of the Startup Biz Coach Radio.
Hey, this is Terry Clay, and I'm back with another episode of the Startup Biz Coach Radio. Yeah. So we are back on the call yet another day. So excited to be on this call. We do this call every single day, Monday through Friday, and we usually go live about 10 a.m. Eastern on the blog, thestartupbizcoach.com. And if you have never gotten on this call, if you've never been on the call, we interview successful entrepreneurs every single day, Monday through Thursday. And on Fridays, I do the call myself. I am your host, Terry Clay, and I give some sort of blogging tips or startup business tips, motivational, how to get your business started, whatever. We do some sorts of tips on entrepreneurship and how to grow your business. And so just like we do every Monday through Thursday, we always have a guest on the show, and as we do every on those days, we allow our guests to introduce themselves. So please tell us who you are and what you do.
That's a neat way of doing it. That's a little different. I'm Milo Shapiro. I am a motivational speaker and team builder in a very unusual way. I do things using improvisation.
Oh, wow. I'm looking at your website, actually, so I thought that was kind of different. So how did you get started with that? What made you start doing improv?
Sure. I was an IT guy, very different place. I was sitting in a cubicle doing work that I found mildly sort of satisfying sometimes, but it wasn't exactly me. And somewhere along the way, someone said to me that there was this improv group thing. Well, actually, I went to a Toastmasters group that was focused on humor. And as a guest speaker, they brought in an improv troupe. Now, this is going back to 91, so we hadn't all seen Whose Line Is It Anyway and stuff like that yet. This was the first time I'd ever seen improv. I was like, oh, my gosh, I want to be doing that. That looks like so much fun. Mm-hmm. So I started taking classes, and classes led to being in a troupe. And by 93, I was one of the co-founders of San Diego Theater Sports, which ran for 14 years. So I got very, very involved in the improv community while having my day job. Mm-hmm. Well, somewhere around 97, 98, when all of a sudden started discovering these things called websites, I found a company back east in Maryland that was using improv for team building. And as I looked at their site, I said, I get why they do that game. That's about listening skills. I get why they do that game. That's about creative problem solving. And that
Mm-hmm.
one's about building on each other's ideas. Oh, no, I wouldn't do that game. I'd do this game. And I started thinking about, if I ever ran this course, what would I do? But I didn't have the guts to quit my job. So it just kind of was something sat in a drawer. And then my company offered voluntary separation packages after a merger. I didn't have to go, but I thought if I'm ever going to pursue this really fun dream, this would be the time. So I walked away from a really good salary and amazing benefits to pursue a dream, which was to go into corporate groups and organizations and teach them some real fundamentals of improv with a focus on just those skills I mentioned: listening skills, building on each other's ideas, creative problem solving, nonverbal communication. So while everyone was playing and having a great time with the games, they were also learning a lot of things about how they work with each other. And I could critique how they played the games without hurting their feelings. If their boss critiqued how they worked with one another, there could be a lot of sensitivity. So people got those little tidbits about what kind of a personality type they were and how they work with others without anybody being offended. And that's how the company got started. It morphed into other things. We can get into them, but that's how it started.
Yeah, I like that. I think I've heard that. I guess that story, it seems like over and over again, how people with entrepreneurship, sometimes they got to be pushed out that door. And when they get pushed out the door, that's when they make the decision to go ahead and follow their dreams or follow what they're here to do.
And this was a little trickier because of the voluntary package. I kept saying to people, I wish they'd just fired me. Then I'd know I was doing the right thing, because why not while I'm unemployed? But I had to actually say, okay, I'll take that check and leave knowing I was walking away from the career that my parents sent me to college for, that I had 12 years experience in. And if you ever have that opportunity, read the fine print. I didn't get any of that money. It went into my 401k, so I actually suddenly had no income. That's an important distinction. Now, 12 years later, or 14 years later, I'm glad to have that money in my 401k because I got through that time, but it was a frightening realization that I must make this work fast.
Yeah, right. Oh, wow. But that is good that you did go forward, because then now that you wouldn't be doing what you're doing. And I mean, like I said, I like that it's something I haven't. I mean, I've heard of improv, but not as a way to, I guess, team build. And so when you saw that at the Toastmasters, I actually started doing my motivational speaking from Toastmasters, so I know them well. Is that when the light bulb hit, or it just kind of all went together?
Yeah, it was a very unusual Toastmaster group. They met twice a month, and once a month it was a more standard Toastmasters group, and the other one it was purely focused on laughter. And so it was called Laugh Masters, in fact. It doesn't exist anymore, but it was a chapter called Laugh Masters. And the way it worked was, instead of everybody doing table topics, everybody got up and told a joke. So there would be 30 people in the room. You'd walk out of there with 30 jokes. They had to be clean or you were fined $1.